What's going on, Canes fans? Welcome to Walking and Venting, episode number 4. You smell that? It smells like the day after a victory. And I woke up a very happy man. A 19-point victory over an in-state rival, the Florida Gators, personally my most hated team. So it felt great. So I was shocked to open up social media and actually see more concerned Miami fans and Miami fans that are hitting the panic button and freaking out over the season now after the performance that they saw against Florida. Now look, was it necessarily a pretty win? No, but it was a 19-point win, and I'm really not super upset about it, and I'm kind of confused why fans are freaking out as much as they are. And I really think this is just my opinion, and please chime in. All right, please chime in. Let me add a disclaimer first. Hold on. There's nothing wrong with being critical of the team. There's nothing wrong with critiquing the players, Shannon Dawson, Mario Cristobal, Corey Heatherman. All of that is perfectly fine. I'm not trying to judge how you fan. I'm not the fan police. Fan the way you want to fan, all right? Hold this team to a very high standard. Pump those expectations through the roof. Because we want to win football games. We want to be playing for national championships, conference championships consistently. However, I think that a lot of Miami fans in particular tend to compare every team to the 2001 team and some of the teams of old, right? The Miami teams that were winning national championships. And again, that's okay. But I think it's just wild to believe that to win a national championship that you have to steamroll every single team that you play. I mean, that would be great in an ideal world, right? But times have changed a bit. Number one, when you factor in the transfer portal, when you factor in NIL, I think that has kind of closed the gap in a lot of ways. And to act like that every team that has won a national championship did go through and just mollywop every team that they played is not true. We can literally, and I know, look, this is going to make you a little sick to your stomach, so prepare yourself. Go ahead and take a seat for just a second, because I'm going to say something that's going to agitate a lot of people. Let's look at Ohio State. And that's a great example because they just won the national championship this last year, right? Did they absolutely dominate every single team that they played when looking at that scoreboard? Let's see. A loss to Oregon, 32-31. So you mean you don't have to be undefeated? Again, it's ideal, but I guess depending on how the college football landscape plays out, possibly not. A win against Nebraska, 21-17. That is a 4-point win. Win against Penn State. Well, that's great. 20-13, that's a 7-point win. And you know what? A loss to Michigan, 13-10. Yikes. We could look at the runner-up, Notre Dame, who played the Buckeyes in the national championship. They lost to NIU. They only beat Louisville by 7. We could go roll it back to 2023 with a Michigan team that went undefeated, and they had some close calls. All I'm saying is, it's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be pretty. And I just truly don't understand why such a large portion of the fan base, this is just my personal opinion, I only speak for Coop, why they are all of a sudden hitting the panic button and freaking out. And, I saw so many comments about, well, we're screwed now. We've seen who Beck really is against this Florida team. Like, what are we talking about? Did he have an off game? Sure. Did Miami run the ball a lot more than throwing the ball against the Gators? Yeah. And this is a run-heavy team. At the end of the day, they lean on the trenches, the big boys up front, pushing guys around, owning the time of possession, tiring them out. And then when we get to the fourth quarter, what do? We run the ball down their throats. Milk that clock. And you know that I've got to take a moment to tell you about the #1 sports app, Sleeper. I don't know why you haven't downloaded this app yet. You can get the fastest updates to scores right at your fingertips. Chat with other users about the games. You know, you can go back and forth and spam emojis and laugh at fans of opposing teams and stuff during the game and react to it. You could still play fantasy football, or you could enter picks contest and win real money. It's as simple as picking more or less on player stats. You can enter one in as quick as 30 seconds or less. I have literally done it live on stream. So shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the channel and this video. Make sure that you check them out, link down in the description, and use code word COOP. Why wouldn't you? If you use that code word, they will match your first deposit up to $100. That's right, a 100% deposit match up to $100. Just use code word COOP. We appreciate you, Sleeper. So I'm just saying that I don't understand the panic. I really don't. And I mean, you know, I saw a ton of people say, well, you know, Coop, you need to think about this. Miami wasn't seeing a lot of success against Florida offensively, weren't putting up a lot of points. If the Florida Gators had an offense, Miami might have lost that game. And if my grandma had nuts, she'd be my grandpa. The what ifs don't matter. Really, they don't. We can sit here and make up all these hypothetical scenarios that did not happen, the coulda, shoulda, woulda, what if, but what did happen? What happened is Miami won by 19 points. It should have been more. Could have been more. But at the end of the day, they handled business. And guess what? Good teams find a way to win. Whenever I say, well, a win is a win, people are like, well, you know, I can't believe you would say that because it should be better. Yeah, but I'm going to, a win is a win. I'm going to take a win because the team found a way to get it done. They looked adversity in the face and they said, wow, it's 13-7 at halftime here against a Florida team that's not very good. They're okay defensively, minus the D-line. But offensively, man, this team is trash. And they're hanging with us. They found a way to get it done and beat the Gators. And now it's on to the next, which actually is a bye week right now. But then Florida State, right? Speaking of looking ahead, my entire timeline is Florida State fans talking Miami football. Do they know they have a football game on Friday against Virginia? Like, I'm sure, right? Look, I'm sure Mike Norvell has those guys locked in. They're focused one game at a time. But their fans, literally, I can throw up a tweet somewhere right here on the screen. Because I was talking about this on social media, and this guy said, well, Virginia is already a done deal. Like, we already won that game. So we're ready to play y'all. A big primetime matchup at Doak. Okay, buddy. Okay, but that's a Friday game against a Virginia team that's been putting up some points. So you better handle business because I'm going to be there. I want that showdown, that highly ranked game. I want Doak to be packed. We're going to bring it. I'm going to be there with the college football family. Yeah, buddy. Anyways, I'm getting way off track again. I just want to know if you have done a 180 now, if you are way more concerned about this team, if you're hitting the panic button, if you're freaking out. We're 4-0, and I want you to know that I'm not trying to call out fans that are being critical. I'm not trying to tell people that they should just sit back and soak it in and pump some sunshine, because that's not what I'm trying to do either. will nitpick it. Carson Beck had an off game, 100%. Even when he was throwing the ball, it was too high, too low. He was holding on to the ball for too long. He did not look great against Florida. But what you have to do is adjust. Players are human. Sometimes they have an off day or an off night, an off game, just not feeling it for whatever reason, and you have to adjust accordingly. And Miami's already a pretty run-heavy team like we discussed. They ran the ball quite a bit more than they have passed the ball this season. So they were able to lean on that, and they saw success, and it worked. Every game tells this unique story. It's like a movie playing out every single weekend in front of us. And it's so cool to go back and look and see what the storyline was for the game and follow the flow of it. And could Dawson have called a bit better of a game? Maybe. But I don't really know, because all I know is what did play out. And Miami came out on top with a 19-point win. And I would like to think, looking at this team, and thinking about the culture that Mario has installed now in year 4, I would like to think that we've not seen the best from this team yet. I believe that this team could and should just get better and better as the season progresses. I feel like it's that type of team. And this is an efficient team offensively overall. Again, some struggles against Florida. And it's a much more balanced team. This team is still averaging, it's like 37 or 38 points per game. They're top 15 at the least in several categories defensively, holding teams to less than 12 points per game. They're top 15 in yards allowed per game, and they should, I believe, just keep getting better. So I am not hitting the panic button. I'm not freaking out. I really don't feel any differently about this team than I did before the Florida game. I've not changed my mind in any way. I believe that they need to clean some things up and that it's not perfect. We need to see Dawson maybe changed up a little bit with some of the play calling. And that's just being open and real and honest. It doesn't have to be perfect. You strive for greatness and perfection. But it doesn't have to be to get a win. You got to get the job done. That's not an excuse. Well, Coop, you're a Miami fan, so of course you're going to say, well, it wasn't a perfect game, but everything was all right because they won. But that's the truth. That's the reality. Every single game you watch, there will be a busted coverage somewhere. There will be a guy who missed an assignment. There will be a quarterback who gets a ball batted down, who throws maybe an interception. There is a drop pass from a wide receiver. But what was up with C.J. Daniels? That was, the guy can make circus catches, but he, when it hits him in the hands, I'm not going to hate on him because he's done great things for us. It's just, come on, man. Come on, bro. I just want to know your thoughts. That's the biggest point of this Walking and Venting episode, is I want to know how you truly feel, and I want you to be open and honest with me down in the comments, and just let me know how you're feeling about the team, because we have a bye week coming up, so we have plenty of time to do hypotheticals and discuss where we think this team stands now, going into the 5th game of the season after this bye week. And I'll be honest with you, I feel good. I feel good. I do. I hope this isn't some sort of like bad omen or something, you know what I mean? I feel good about the Miami Hurricanes. Giant crack of thunder. Nah, right? Right? You know what to do. I actually enjoy a rainy Sunday from time to time. As long as the humidity stays away, cools it off a little bit. Remember though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I gotta say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.